All right, we are live. So welcome back to DAP University. So today we got a lot to talk about in our stream. We're going to start first with a pretty crazy story of somebody who just made $109,000 off their own NFT project. All right, not out there necessarily just flipping NFTs, but doing this whole thing for a massive opportunity. Has a pretty big arc of redemption in this person's life. We're going to talk about why it's such a huge opportunity for everybody. Why we're excited about this. We're going to look at the crypto markets. We got some green on the charts here. Talk about some good news for crypto in this space that could likely attract, some smart money in this space over long term. Lots of other crazy stuff going on. We're going to answer some of your questions and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. On this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step by step, start to finish, then head on over to dapuniversity.com/bootcamp. Get started today. Last but not least, like nothing I'm saying in this video is going to be financial advice, and there's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Just ignore them. Like I'm never going to give you my phone number on YouTube, never going to ask you to invest with me, never going to DM you in a social network, try to get you to, give me money for paid promotion, something like that. It's absolutely crazy. So we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Susanna, David Stone, Patrick, Big Country, Robert, Brian, Bradford, Automatic Beats, Ant Sleeper. Welcome technically. So let's go ahead and jump into this story. Let me try to pull some on my screen here. So we've got, I saw this come across my desk yesterday and put it out on my Twitter, but definitely had to leave this today because this is a crazy opportunity. That I'm seeing stories like this come up on a weekly basis of people who are making life-changing money off of NFTs. Okay, so let me just pull this up. If I can actually get my screen to work here. Sorry, there's Walshy. Let me share my screen. Hold on. Getting used to this new live stream software. Awesome. Well, how can I do this with just my camera here? There we go. That view is going to work. So anyways, let's get into this story. So I had $10 in my bank account. This 36-year-old went from living paycheck to paycheck to making over $109,000 selling NFTs. All right. So basically, we can look at Brittany's story here. In 2021, selling over $109,000 in NFTs in about 9 months is what this time frame looked like. So before that, they were struggling to pay rent on a Chicago apartment, to afford groceries, bus fare. It's a pretty common story, right? People are trying to just get ahead in life and feel like there's no way. And, she turned to NFTs. Basically, she learned about NFTs with her friend, a fellow artist here, who just sold an NFT for artwork over $17,000 and inspired her to try to do the same thing, okay? And then she went on to go do this and had a pretty crazy result. And like I was saying, I'm seeing more and more stories like this happen all the time. Okay, we saw the story of the 12-year-old boy who made $400,000 off NFTs, selling his own project over, a summer break. We've seen the story of I just saw a sort of an 11-year-old girl who made $4 million, an artist who just made $4 million off of in a day. All right, who've been in this space for quite some time, but it's just an insane opportunity. Okay. And it's kind of one of those things where you only see this type of opportunity often when you have a really new area like this pop up. And yeah, it's absolutely crazy. These are the types of skills that we try to teach you on this channel, is to be able to create your own projects like this, pursue your own entrepreneurial adventures that could create, a life-changing opportunity. It's one of the things I say is one of the best ways to make life-changing money in crypto is actually learn technical skills and learn how to build projects in this space, whether you're trying to land a job, whether you're trying to start your own project. For many people, this has a higher financial upside with less risk than crypto does. Because in the day, if you try to launch your own project, it doesn't work out, you still have a high value skill, right? If you go try to learn blockchain, you don't get that first job, you can always try again. You haven't really lost much for your time there. So I just want to bring this up because this is crazy. Did I miss any details on this, Walshy? So if y'all are just tuning the streams this week, I do have Walshy here on the channel. As my new co-host for these streams, helping me prep for these and add value. So welcome, Walshy. You got anything else to say on this one?
Yeah, hey, thanks. I appreciate that, Gregory. GM, everybody. Please don't forget, guys, follow me at IamWalshyNFG. Please, please, please. Love you. So most people seem to forget that like the main use case of NFTs, the one that's like so revolutionary, so like artists and being able to make money outside of the normal industry means through NFTs, right? This way, there's no middleman. So her name was Brittany Pierre, and she did this through photography. She was living like paycheck to paycheck in Chicago. And so everyone, it's a major city, cost of living really, really high. She had never made more than $15 an hour. She was living on less than $30,000 a year. Okay, so significant. Like her normal, I was reading the article, and her normal like price for photo shoots was like $50. For prints, it was like $30. But her first NFTs sold for between $200 to $300 each. And obviously, that was at the beginning. You build your name, you build your brand, and suddenly those prices start going higher and higher, whatever. But even with her initial sale, that was like a 5x to 10x, depending on what she was doing. So like immediately to her, it was just completely obvious like how much of a game changer this was. Now, I haven't done this personally, but as like a musician, I really want to start trying to dabble and seeing like what that can do for the music scene. So I mean, she's inspiring me. I know that she's actually now being a huge proponent for marginalized people, low income, classes, to like try to get outside of the system, try to utilize NFTs the way they're intended to be.
Yeah, totally. I think that's awesome. And what I really like about the story is how inspiring it is. We don't talk about the story to say that like everybody's guaranteed to have this kind of result if you try to build your own NFT project, right? But well, guess what I'm trying to say is like, there's also a huge opportunity for people to actually do good in their own life and other people's lives with this space, because like crypto gets a bad reputation for just this like unchecked greed, you know what I mean? And people just going in here and like, fighting one another and like this zero sum game of just like, buying low and then dumping on noobs and all this type of stuff. But it can be way, way, way more than that. And that's what we definitely like to try to stick on that side of things here on this channel to really help people, take a part of this opportunity. That's what this channel's really for.
So much positivity with this infrastructure, just so many good things that can happen because of this infrastructure. And it's just like, for some reason, there's cognitive dissonance for like regular people that have no idea about this industry. Like, it's just like, as soon as they hear it, nope, it's the worst. It's,
Right.
all the negative connotations that follow.
Yeah, totally. So, with that being said, I would be remiss if we didn't, really quickly, plug our masterclass we've got going on next week. We are going to do another NFT Masterclass. If you want to learn how to create your own NFT project step by step, start to finish, you don't have to be an advanced coder. You don't have to be an advanced artist to do that. You can just head over to dappuniversity.com/sign up, and you'll see this link to join. Right, you can see all the details there. So let's go ahead and jump into what's going on in the crypto space, because we're seeing some green in the markets here. Some signs of some good signs in the short term. And we're also seeing some news that could be good for crypto in the long run. So I'm going to pull up the charts here on my screen. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this software here. So we got Ether's up 20% in 7 days. All right. So Bitcoin is up 6.5%. Solana's up 21%. Of the top, 50 or so, you got ETH and Solana looking pretty strong here.
It's all green right now, yeah.
Yeah. So this, this is good in the short term. We have to be super careful. This could be a deceptive thing. We could see some dump. We could see some pain, and just catching you back up into context in the crypto markets. If you're just tuning back in, we've seen a correction over the past couple months. I'm sure everybody knows that, but just kind of filling you on the details. Of course, we've got some doom and gloom from the macroeconomics perspective. At least that's everybody's perception of things. But we got a little bit of good news. What's going on with the jobs report? Didn't something just come up where that sounded better than we thought it was going to be?
I saw like 10 minutes before the stream even went live.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, apparently the jobs report is like way better than anticipated. I'm pulling up the Reuters report now. It looks like an increase of 467,000 jobs in January, which was way higher than expected. That's great. It means the economy is doing some great things. It means that the overall kind of vibe is positive. People are really happy about this. So that's why you see the initial jump. I'm assuming, but I haven't seen it, but the stock market's probably correlated as well.
Yeah, let's take a look to see what's going on there. Again, we don't pretend to be, macro experts on this channel or anything like that. We just want to bring you all the data points that people are talking about, weigh in where we can, and try to give you all the information that you need to, navigate this space. So let's see here. Let me just pull this up on my screen here. So we got the S&P coming in. We're low for today so far. We'll see. We have to wait and see what happens.
Wait, so they're not correlated? Wait, so crypto's up? I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It's I don't know that it's statistically significant. Like it's not big enough of a spread to really like make it super convincing in my opinion. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But
we'll see what happens.
on maybe like on the hourly time frame, we see a divergence. But crypto can have more upside historically speaking. Then like crypto can go up when stocks are kind of flat or down. It's just usually when stock market's tanking hard, that's when crypto starts tanking hard.
I love to see that divergence, especially I just want crypto to be on its own and not correlated to any kind of outside industries, right? Like that to me would be like the biggest win. And so, hey, I love to see green across the board, especially when I go to CoinGecko. That's something that makes me very happy.
Yeah, totally. So let's talk about a couple other things that were good for the crypto space. I'm gonna say crypto. Cryptocurrencies in general. A couple of things for Ether for sure. So we're seeing Fidelity see stronger demand for Ethereum itself. Microsoft blockchain director making a bold prediction about ETH being like a decentralized app store by 2023. We're seeing a bipartisan bill to reintroduce to Congress to eliminate taxes for small crypto transactions. So we're going to cover a couple of those things because these are all really good. I don't want to spend too much time on each of these things, but all these are just data points pointing in the right direction for the crypto space. Where maybe we could see that long-term decoupling based on these types of factors. If you can make a crypto a more favorable asset class to invest in, that's a pretty strong case for crypto, decoupling from the stock market. If we want to see that correlation, we have to have some reason for it, right? So if crypto becomes something that's attractive, or maybe you see like most uncorrelated assets, right? Like you have a reason why the correlation diverges or there's an inverse correlation sometimes because they say, well, no, I don't want this, I want that, right? So let's look at this first item here, which is the bipartisan bill proposes tax exemptions for small crypto transactions. So what are the details on this, Walshy?
This is great. So we actually covered just the other day a small bill that was proposed in Arizona to make Bitcoin legal tender, but it was kind of a tiny bill. This is a bipartisan bill in Congress, so vastly different. We've got some allies. I want to highlight them really quick. So Representatives Suzanne Delbene and David Schweikert. Suzanne's a Democrat, David's a Republican. They introduced this bill. And funny enough, they actually introduced this in 2020 as well, but it just never went to a vote. This bill was also sponsored by more Web3 allies, by Tom Emer, who's a Republican from Minnesota, and Darren Soto, who's a Democrat from Florida. So again, very bipartisan. Love it. This was titled the Virtual Currency Tax Fairness Act of 2022. And it was it's about 24 lines or so, but the TLDR is that gross income of an individual will not include gain from all transactions below $200. So anything below $200 is not considered, if this passes, would not be considered a gain. This would also expand the definition of virtual currency. Specifically from the actual bill itself, it defines it as digital representation of value that is used as a medium of exchange and is not otherwise currency. Cool. So just kind of like clearing up the definition just a little bit. To be clear, though, guys, this would not apply to any transactions in 2021. This is only for 2022 and moving forward. The effective date would be December 31st, 2021. So This is Beautiful. This is exactly what we need.
So if it passed, it'd be retroactive though for 2021, right? For
No.
2022. Sorry, that's what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
if it was the start date was January 1st, 2022, and it passes, let's say next month in March, that if you did transactions in January or February, they're not gonna like it's gonna be for all of 2022, right?
All 2022. This would take place. Yep. Everything after December 31st, 2021.
Yeah, totally. So the biggest win to me is that this increases the utility value for crypto with fees, because like if you have gas money sitting around in a wallet that's constantly jumping up and down in price and you realize a gain of like a certain amount, you don't have to sit there and itemize every capital gain or loss on the crypto you're holding to pay fees, which at the end of the day, like that can be good, because I mean, who wants to sit there and go through this laborious accounting process to be like, well, I gained $1 here on this transaction, I gained $1 there. Like that's a massive pain in the butt that nobody wants to do. So that's the biggest win in my opinion here. Also just using crypto to pay for things, you know what I mean? Like if you want to get on some website that accepts crypto for payment, if your crypto went up a certain amount, then you don't have to worry about that either. Am I missing something else here?
I mean, unless that crypto 10x's, and then you might have to worry about it.
Yeah, totally. But I guess I'm thinking about, cases where you might be buying frequently and then using it immediately, right?
Right. I think like in my perfect world, hopefully very, very soon, when we're all purchasing groceries with like, digital currencies, stable coins, etc., right? Like you won't have to worry about a tax as we're kind of talking about if you're holding your grocery coin or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, grocery coin.
And then it 10x's.
All right. So we got some questions in the chat here. We'll make sure we are including our community here. So let's see. Awesome. Starting the boot camp soon. Welcome. Somebody says, is the heavy breathing part of my script? That's a good question. In case you notice, I definitely have zero script. Let's see. What software am I using for streaming? I'm using a kind of a mishmash of OBS and StreamYard. So I was using OBS when I was doing these streams solo, but now we brought Walsh on the channel. We need a collaborative tool, and so that's what we're using StreamYard for. So we're kind of getting the kinks worked out here. Do I think NFTs with utility are the future? I think the NFTs that have utility are the future of NFTs. I'll put it that way. I think they have a bright future. Somebody says if we get own blockchain, all those Fortnite skins will be spent a fortune for.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
That's the real use case. Like, let's take those skins, let's bring them to a new game, and make sure you can keep them. Right.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm a huge gamer, and that's
the vision for sure. So Susanna also asks, Walshy, what do you play?
So guitar, bass, drums. I've got a synthesizer back there. I've been learning keyboard, keys, piano since September. Been playing basically my whole life. I played clarinet in band when I was a kid, like 4th grade and stuff.
Awesome. Okay, so let's somebody said how long the NFT bull run will last. Yeah, no clue. I mean, I think NFTs are here to stay. I mean, that doesn't mean the valuations can't go down significantly from here if things are indeed bubblish. But there's also not financial advice to say you should be buying NFTs right now, right? For the long term. I'm not saying that, but
yeah. And remember, guys, like no one really knows. There's a lot of money and people saying they know, but the reality is that's all speculation, right? Just remember that if numbers up right now, numbers up right now. That's how you know. Yeah.
The present and hindsight are both 2020.
Exactly.
All right, so let's look at this. So let's look at this. Some stuff that's really bullish for the ETH ecosystem for sure. In case anybody's tuning these streams the first time, kind of what my background is. I work with Ethereum on a daily basis. I'm an Ethereum developer background. That is it is my choice to invest heavily into that technology as my primary area of expertise. Okay, so always full disclosure on that in this channel.
I think we lost him. It's my channel now, guys. You're stuck with me, the new guy. I have a little bit of technical difficulties as Gregory comes back.
Can you hear me now?
Sure can. We don't see you though.
Yeah, hold on a second. I just knocked this cable on my computer that just killed my thing here. Hold on, everybody.
I love the passion.
1 second. We're doing fixing the aircraft while it's flying here. Hold on.
Yeah, there's definitely some really positive, just strong Ethereum news floating around right now, which would, of course, explain why in last 7 days, that Ethereum's gone up about 20%. Obviously, the jobs report itself was a big factor for this morning. And you see, I think it was like a gain of like 10% this morning, which is wild. So I'd love to see that. But there's a lot more additional news for Ethereum. Greg, you're good to go now.
Awesome. Kelly, still hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, this thing in particular, it's a pretty bold prediction. So Microsoft blockchain director on Ethereum's future. So the prediction is that Ethereum becomes a decentralized app store by 2023. So low fees versus app store revenue share, no commerce lock-in to Apple, no single point of control by large corporate. So distributed, decentralized, single sign-in across apps, payments, identity, and commerce. That's a pretty bold prediction by 2023. Yeah.
It's 2022. It's like about less than a year from now. Let's go. I'm on board for that. We'll need to see the merge for sure. Guys, follow him. This is Microsoft's blockchain director. It's a great Twitter follow. He's very entertaining. He's definitely bullish on the space. Considering his like legacy position too, great ally to have. He's really funny.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like the timeline's a little ambitious here, but this is a situation where I would love to be proven wrong. You know what I mean? Like that's good for everybody watching this stream. But I do see the incentives that he's talking about here, and the incentives are what's really powerful. I can't remember who the quote is. I think maybe it's Charlie Munger. It's like, show me the incentives, I'll show you the outcome. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I definitely think that this is a case where that applies. You know, you have an app store now that you have this problem of fees and revenue share, right? We had this problem where basically, you know, Apple, I mean, didn't they have some crazy like antitrust settlement where they basically forced people into using their app store for their payment, you know, subscriptions, stuff like that? Yeah,
that's
I'm pretty
wild.
Sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't remember the details. I don't want to spread fake news, but like that something happened big with Apple. You know what I mean? Where like everybody who was like taking payments in their apps outside of Apple's, you know, sort of tentacles, kind of got forced into doing it or like getting kicked off. I think it's something like that, right? I want to be very clear that I don't have the details 100% here, but it was something to that effect, right? And I'm pretty sure there's some major like antitrust issue that popped up, and now it's changed back to the way it was. So it's a problem, right? So it fixes that problem. There's no commerce lock into Apple, so there's no like, oh man, we're locked into the Apple ecosystem versus the Android ecosystem. Now, I guess by counterpoint, you're locked into the Ethereum ecosystem, but still decentralized, distributed, and single sign-in is always something that I thought is huge for blockchain. Is like, you have to understand, like whenever you have that blockchain wallet, it's a paradigm shift that you're now a user of the network. You're not a user of the application itself. And so that opens up all kinds of possibilities to like carry your identity with you across apps rather than having all these freaking username and passwords on every single app. And then like for a social network, you know, your social graph could carry from one, you know, app to the other, right? You don't have to like reinvent your entire friend network on Instagram or Facebook and Twitter. Like you can just take them with you. Now those apps can help you filter them, you know, but there's lots of benefits here, and I think he's seeing those in this tweet.
Yeah, and you know, maybe his timeline is a bit, you know, soon, but hey, look what happened with NFTs last year, right? Obviously,
yeah,
they've been around for a while, but like, you know, May comes around, it was more like kind of all year, but really around May to August is like really when that started booming, and then all of a sudden it's NFTs this, NFTs that, and then celebrities started flowing in, right? It happened really quick. I think to your point though, where, everything would be on Ethereum, actually, to be able to do that, you probably have to be on an L2, right? So you can be on
totally.
whichever L2 decides, or maybe all of the L2s who decide they want to open up like an app store of their own, right? Like really interesting to see how that one would play out. But I definitely love that take. And, obviously I'm in the space, but I'd be super bullish to see how that does play out. But yeah, it definitely, just like with everything Web2 and everything we know about the internet, like it would solve a lot of these centralization issues, especially when it comes to like logins and privacy and data, user, etc. So yeah, I'm definitely, I would love to see this. I hope he's right. Yorkie Rhodes, now you have a great name, but I definitely like where your train of thought is and where your vision is. I'll follow that.
Yeah, and if you're watching on this channel and you got a really compelling reason why we're just dead wrong and that you're right, we'd love to hear it. So come on.
I see someone in chat says crypto is totally a scam. So there's one person who's saying otherwise. You know what my response to that is?
I would say beware of the mob in the chat.
Yeah. If you think crypto is a scam, go take $500, put it into stable coins, and go and earn 5% on it, and then tell me it's still a scam.
Yeah.
There you go. That's crypto.
Yeah. Yep. It's not going to do that in your bank account. That's for sure.
No, you get 0.05% just for the person that thinks that's still a scam. There you go. That's not financial advice. My bad. I'm not giving any financial advice.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah. It's okay. That's probably not going to ruin anybody's life unless it's like the gateway drug to a gambling addiction. Then maybe.
Yeah. Please.
So basically, there's something else I was going to talk about here in the ETH space. That's really good. So
Fidelity. Yeah.
Let me pull it up here. So with the App Store, that's another reason to bring a lot of people in the space. We're also seeing really strong institutional demand for Ethereum from Fidelity. I mean, one of the largest asset managers in the world. Okay, talking about institutional clients, seeing massive institutional demand for Ethereum specifically, and they plan on adding it to their platform. So we talk a lot about institutional adoption of cryptocurrency as a big theme for moving this space forward. Why is this important? Because institutions can buy in size in a way that retail investors, like people like you or me, cannot. Like if Walshy and I buy as much crypto as we possibly can, but all the money that we've ever earned in our entire life, and we try to convince everybody in this live stream to do it, and then everybody that we know personally in our social life, we're not even going to make a dent compared to somebody who could put $1 billion into crypto. You know what I mean? Like one person who puts $1 billion into crypto absolutely just eclipses all the effort that we could possibly do, right? So institutions are huge. And many people think that's likely kind of the next wave for crypto to push their prices higher, because a lot of retail traders have been shaken out. Our live streams here, we have less than half of the people that normally were on these live streams, like when we were, a full-on bull market, right? We have, less than half of the new people coming to space, like checking everything out. Simply because interest is waning because prices are down, right? And a lot of people lost their money and don't want to come back. So, the institutions are huge. Now it's going to change the dynamics of the space. Everybody has this misconception that because institutions are going to be here, that it'll reduce the volatility. I mean, there's plenty of institutions that are just as paper-handed as like brand new retail investors. So that's not necessarily true. But we will have a certain base of those institutions who will be, here for the long term and likely be able to weather sort of the storms. And we could see some volatility reduce, but I don't think it's going to be like the magic drug that cures all. But they are new participants that could cause prices to go higher.
Bolster the space. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. If they're injecting $1 billion into whatever coin you want to list here, and you're just a retail investor that's invested into that coin, it's going up. You don't invest $1 billion and it goes down. It goes up after. It might go down afterwards as everyone cashes out. All retail tries to. But again, when that $1 billion enters, or whatever figure you want to put out there enters, it's a pretty big deal. So a couple of details about Fidelity I thought were really interesting when I was taking a look into that story. So the person who actually made that quote, her name is Christine Sandler, and she's Fidelity's digital assets head of sales and marketing. That was a recent interview with Blockworks, and she was quoted as saying, "We're seeing an increasing demand from additional assets besides Bitcoin, and then specifically said, we've been public about adding Ethereum. So I love this. Like you said, Fidelity has been in the game for quite some time. They love crypto. They've actually been a proponent of crypto since 2014, and they actually started mining then. So I thought that was really interesting. I didn't know that. And in 2017, they even started a institutional custody platform and started launching their crypto services. So these are great allies. Like you said, right now it's not popular to say, but VCs are great for the space. There's definitely some mercenary VCs out there for sure. But when all's said and done, when they enter the space, they start investing into the big L1s, into the big infrastructure. Everybody benefits. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, totally. All right, so there's one more here that I want Walshy to give us the scoop on.
Want to end on a very positive note here. So we started off again with an artist who changed her life. Went from making less than $15 an hour, guys, less than $30,000 a year, to making over $100,000 last year in 2021 just through NFTs.
But also in 9 months, right?
Yeah, in 9 months. Yeah, from March to the end of the year.
You're making basically your annual salary every quarter, roughly speaking. And so if you annualize that out, that's more like $140,000 a year, 145. Now you got to sustain it, right? But if you annualize it still, like, and then take on initial salary too, that's like $170-something thousand a year.
And of course, she's building her brand and expanding and marketing, and so of course I don't know how large she was prior in terms of like exposure prior to NFTs, but I mean it's a huge publicity thing. But that's not the only positive story. Again, we're here to shed the idea that like crypto is like for scams and it's the worst thing in the world. It is not. And so the next story we have is awesome. Found this on Vice News. Thought it was hilarious. I'll just get into it. So a toilet-themed NFT group wiped away over $7 million in medical debt. And guess what? Of course, people are still mad, right? Even if they're alleviating medical debt, doesn't matter. It's blood money. It's the worst thing in the world. It's all a scam. All of the medical debt, that's a scam. To break it down, so the NFT project itself was called Rainbow Rolls. Again, great artwork. You can see the toilet paper with the smiley. And they donated the money to RIP RIP Medical Debt, which is a 501c3 charity. The charity itself stated goal is obvious. It's to eliminate medical debt. To date, that charity has relieved more than $5 billion with a B in debt, and even was featured on John Oliver. I think they abolished about $15 million with that endeavor itself. People are mad, big mad, like lots of Twitter hate and just saying, like this is the worst thing in the world. I'm never going to donate to you guys again. It destroys the environment, which is like the one thing I can't wait to dispel. That makes me so mad. It's like these people that hate NFTs and hate crypto, they don't do any research to even understand like how consensus mechanisms work, or like how Ethereum's moving from proof of work to proof of stake, and that's like the big thing that's happening this year, which of course reduces like the environmental destruction properties or energy usage or whatever you want to call it down significantly, like 99% reduction. Like that doesn't matter to any of these. They see one terrible YouTube story and they just follow the leader. It's the worst.
Yeah, totally.
It's the worst.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about the other day. It's sort of like people, you have lots of people who just follow human nature, or they're just reflexive condemnation. And a lot of that's because they have some value that they're holding on to that feels threatened in some way by the presence of this new thing. And they just lash out rather than trying to realize that this new thing might actually, may not be as threatening as you actually think it is. But hey, that's hard work, requires internal reflection and change, which I don't know if you've been watching, if you read any book, written in the past 3,000 years, it's been a very big problem for a long time.
You see this a lot with paradigm shifts. I remember when cell phones became big. I remember when smartphones became big, and I was one of those on the opposite side of the paradigm, right? When smartphones became big, right? Here we go with my smartphone right now. Back in like 2011, I was like, it's just a phone. Why would I get a smartphone, right? And then it dawned on me, oh, you can access the internet at all times, and I can get on GPS and use Google Maps, or I can go, do whatever, download an app. And it dawned on me then, like, oh, oh, I was ignorant. Like I was the one in the wrong, right? Eventually, I feel like this is going to happen to those people that are like very resistant to this technology. But like until then, we all get to laugh at them and hopefully change their minds in very positive ways. But it's just an uphill battle that we're going to have to fight, everyone, cumulatively.
Yep. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, popular opinion has led many people astray for millennia. I mean, we had Socrates talking about this stuff for 2,000 years ago. It's like not much has changed. It's going to be the same thing with crypto.
I'm gonna take a shot at Crocs before we sign off. Crocs are definitely a popular thing that have led people astray as well.
yeah, totally. That's awesome. So yeah, I'll do a couple quick questions here in the chat, then I gotta sign off. Somebody's talking about lost some money, but that's just how it goes in this space. Yeah, totally. You only lose money if you sell. That's the important thing here. So not financial advice. I mean, people might need some money if they've taken it as a loss, and that may be the right move for you right now. Let's see here.
I love this. Someone's like, if I bought $100,000 worth of crypto in November, what would it be worth now? Like, what crypto, dude?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, what crypto?
if you have stable coins,
let's just assume the space is kind of tanked on average. Well, we could play the averages game, which is not the best statistical method here, but we can do it. Let's just see here.
See if we got some real questions, yeah.
I want to look at the market cap, though. Actually, let's just kind of take a look at the market cap. If you see other questions, feel free to call them out. So basically, the entire crypto market cap was about 3 trillion beginning of November. Now it's 1.8. All right. So when it bottomed out at 1.7, something like that. So let's just say statistically, you probably took about a 50% loss. But if you bought, a brand new, small cap crypto, might be like a 90% loss. I don't know. So 100K, you lost $50,000.
I think that's like one of the things that we can teach people that don't know anything about crypto. And I think that's really important for like people who just otherwise don't know the space. Is like, you think you go and you buy a Bitcoin, right? They think it's Bitcoin, that they know there's more, but when they think of crypto, they think of Bitcoin. The reality is that like the major utilization for someone that's like on the outside and like very casual and like doesn't know the space at all, go with stable coins. They're 1-to-1 pegged to the US dollar. And there's different kinds of stable coins, but like go with Circle, go with DAI, go with the Gemini USD, go with those, because you can put in, like I said earlier, $1,000. And if you did that back in October, and you just held that $1,000 in stable coins, it would actually be worth more money today, because you're going to get some kind of percentage APR interest on your deposit. So like, you don't need to go into Bitcoin, which does go up and down, or any of the other ones which do go up and down, or volatile, which is kind of the point of the space. The volatility is good. It's something that traditional markets did away with, essentially. They didn't do away with, but they try to limit that. But that's what makes this industry and this technology so interesting, is volatility is there and it is present, and it's not a bad thing. You just have to be ready for it, know how to interact with it, and not just throw away your money. Don't be that guy that's like, this coin, this one person said it was great, I'm not going to do any research and throw all my money into it. No, it's not how you do it. But that's unfortunately, like, I feel like how people see the space, especially first-time investors. But I tell people when they want to invest into crypto for the first time, I tell them the same thing. Are you ready to lose that money? And if they say no, just don't even put your money in, right? Only put in money you're ready to lose, because it could go away. You have to know it could go away. But if you devise the right strategy, you do enough research, you talk to the right people, you read. I wanted to say that again. You read.
Or you can watch videos.
Or watch our videos at DAP University. Again, there's ways to, of course, just enjoy this technology, enjoy the space, and really see why it is changing things.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to do one more question here, then I got to jump off. So let's see here. Supposed to get interest in USDC. So you have to use the USDC to get interest. Like I'm pretty sure Coinbase has a USDC interest program. Maybe they don't, because their lending program got canceled. You can do it with DeFi. Now here's the other thing. There is risk with stable coins. It's not like there's zero risk. Like the stable coin could have some sort of flaw with it, right? There's no zero risk scenario in crypto. In order to get interest, you typically have to put it into a yield farm or like trust some sort of centralized entity to do that. So we gotta be full like transparent up front about all that stuff. But you're talking about a small amount of money, like it's you're not going to see that same volatility as you would in something else. All right, so that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out, so the more people learn about blockchain. You're as fast in this technology as I am. You want to get your hands dirty. How can you get started today? Well, you go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you'll take a master shortcut entirely, I actually become a blockchain master step by step, start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You have to be an expert to get started today. Help people with zero coding experience become real world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.